In 1993, a woman named Carol Steinberg bought a Maytag top loader in Newton, Iowa, in the same town as the factory where it was built. She washed clothes in that machine for 31 years. When her daughter moved out, she gave it to her. It is still running. Now compare that to the Maytag Bravos her granddaughter bought in 2019. 3 years later, it was making a grinding noise. The control board threw an F5 error code. The repairman looked at it for 15 minutes and said 4 words. It is not worth fixing. Same name on the door. Completely different machine inside. Today we are going to open that machine up and show you exactly what changed, component by component, material by material, dollar by dollar. Because what happened to Maytag did not happen by accident. It happened on a spreadsheet. Maytag was founded in 1893 by Frederick Louis Maytag and partners in Newton, Iowa. For over a century, the company built washing machines that became the standard by which all other washers were measured. The Lonely Repairman campaign ran from 1967 onward. The joke was that Maytag repairmen had nothing to do because the machines never broke. That was not just advertising. That was a reflection of how the machines were built. In 2006, Whirlpool Corporation bought Maytag for $1.7 billion in equity value. Within approximately 18 months, they closed the Newton, Iowa plant, the beating heart of the brand, the facility where those 30-year machines were made. They cut 20% of Maytag's quality engineers. They shifted laundry production to Clyde and Marion, Ohio. And then they did what every conglomerate does when it acquires a legacy brand. They kept the name and replaced the machine. Whirlpool already owned KitchenAid. Through the Maytag acquisition, they also absorbed Amana and Gen Air. That gave them a portfolio of premium names they could attach to machines built on shared platforms. Platforms engineered not for 30 years of service, but for the most cost-efficient production run they could achieve. Appliance Design magazine reported in 2012 that Whirlpool cut washer costs by around 25% across its brands following the Maytag acquisition. Their own 10K filing from 2010 documents tens of millions of dollars in annual savings from parts consolidation. Every dollar of those savings came out of your machine. It came out of the transmission housing. It came out of the tub. It came out of the control board. And eventually, it came out of your wallet. They call this value engineering. We call it a business decision that turned a 30-year appliance into a 5-year appliance. But the business model is only half the problem. The components inside the new Maytag have been engineered to expire. So let us open the machine and show you exactly what they changed. Start with the transmission. The old Maytag top loader, the one Carol Steinberg ran for 31 years, had a cast iron and aluminum gear case, metal gears meshing with metal gears. When that transmission wore, a technician could open it, replace the damaged gear, and close it back up. The whole job cost $40 or $50 in parts and an hour of labor. Repairmen rebuilt those transmissions routinely. The post-2006 Maytag Bravos has a plastic housing with plastic gears. Plastic gears under load from a full tub of wet laundry. When they strip, and they do strip, typically between 4 and 7 years of use, the agitator stops moving or the drum refuses to spin. The grinding noise you hear is the plastic teeth shearing against each other. The replacement transmission assembly is $300 to $400 in parts. Add $150 in labor. You are at $550 on a machine that cost $800 new. The repairman says, it is not worth fixing. The plastic gear case saves Whirlpool an estimated $15 to $20 per unit in manufacturing. Across 1.5 million units a year, that is $20 to $30 million. You subsidize that savings every time you buy the machine and every time it fails. Now, move up to the tub. The pre-2006 Maytag had a porcelain enamel steel inner tub. Hard, smooth, resistant to chemicals, resistant to chipping, and structurally rigid for decades. The bearings that supported the drum shaft were separate serviceable components. A repairman could pull the tub, press out the old bearing for $20 or $30, press in a new one, and reassemble. An hour of labor. The tub itself would outlast everything around it. The post-2006 Maytag Bravos has a polypropylene plastic tub. The bearings, part number W108766600, are sealed polymer units pressed into the tub assembly. They are not separate, they are not accessible. When the bearing seizes from water contamination, and water contamination is inevitable in a washing machine, the sealed bearing cannot be replaced independently. You must replace the entire tub assembly. That assembly costs $400 or more. Add labor. You are at $550 minimum on a machine that may already have a failing transmission and a questionable control board. iFixit gave the Maytag Bravos a repairability score of 4 out of 10. Same name, different machine, different physics. The plastic tub saved Whirlpool an estimated $10 per unit. That is $15 million a year across their production volume. You pay for it with a machine that cannot be repaired when its most critical wear item fails. Now, move to the control board. The old Maytag mechanical timer was a physical device. Gears, springs, and metal contacts that advanced through the wash cycle. It was repairable. It was understandable. A technician could test each contact with a multimeter and replace a single switch for $5. Those timers ran for decades without failure because they had almost nothing inside them that could go wrong. The post-2006 Maytag uses a surface mount electronic control board on a fiberglass PCB, part number WPW10435-302 on the Bravos and Centennial lines. This board sits behind the top console panel. It manages motor speed, water level sensors, lid lock mechanisms, and cycle timing. Every function that the old mechanical timer handled with metal contacts is now handled by solder joints on a circuit board in a hot, humid, vibrating environment. Thermal cycling cracks solder joints. Moisture corrodes the pin connectors. Vibration fatigues the board mounts. The failure timeline is 3 to 5 years, or 500 to 800 wash cycles. The warning signs are error codes: F5, E2, intermittent beeping, failure to start, failure to drain. The replacement board costs $450. Whirlpool's estimated manufacturing cost for that board is $50. That is a 9 times markup on a component that fails within the first quarter of the machine's expected lifespan. Reports indicate that some Maytag Bravos washing machines were subject to CPSC recalls related to fire hazards. Consumer Reports has documented that Maytag and Whirlpool recall frequency runs above industry norms. And when these boards fail outside of any recall window, you pay for them. $450 for the board, $150 for the service call, $600 on a machine you thought you were buying from the brand that used to mean indestructible. A class action in the Northern District of Ohio, the Whirlpool front-loading washer case, alleged that the company knew its machines were developing mold contamination and sold them anyway. That case reached a settlement that was preliminarily approved in 2016, providing rebates and reimbursements to affected consumers. Settlement costs are a rounding error against the annual manufacturing savings. The math works for Whirlpool, it does not work for you. And that is just the engineering. The real trap is what happens when it breaks. When the transmission strips on a post-2006 Maytag, the repairman cannot rebuild it. There is no rebuild. He orders a sealed plastic assembly from Whirlpool's parts supply at full markup. There are no generic alternatives. Whirlpool controls the parts chain. He cannot easily buy a third-party control board because proprietary diagnostic systems limit what a younger technician can access without a paid subscription. Without that access, he cannot fully diagnose the machine, so he does what the industry now calls a parts canon. He replaces the board, the transmission, and the tub assembly one by one until something works or until you run out of money. That is not repair, that is organized surrender. The average age of a master appliance technician in this country is reportedly over 55. For every 5 who retire, 1 enters the field. The skills that would allow a repairman to actually fix the old Maytag, depress a bearing, rebuild a gear case, test a timer contact, are disappearing. And the new machines are designed so that those skills are irrelevant. You cannot rebuild what is sealed. You cannot fix what is proprietary. So if the machine is designed to die and the repairman is being designed out of existence, what do you actually do? You stop buying the name, you start buying the physics. The answer, every experienced repairman will tell you, is Speed Queen. Speed Queen builds commercial laundromat machines. Their home top loaders are that machine without the coin slot. They feature a steel transmission with metal gears. Certain models offer a mechanical timer option, a physical dial connected to physical contacts. They fill the tub fully. The simpler models have no touchscreen, no Wi-Fi, and no circuit board managing a humidity sensor, monitoring a load balancing algorithm. Speed Queen guarantees parts availability for 20+ years after manufacture. Speed Queen tops the Consumer Reports reliability ratings for agitator top-load washers, earning an excellent rating in predicted reliability. The strongest standing in their category. Speed Queen costs more at purchase, roughly $1,100 to $1,200 versus $700 to $800 for the Bravos. But the Bravos cost between $114 and $267 per year over its 5 to 7 year lifespan when you account for purchase price and likely repair or replacement. The Speed Queen, over 25+ years, at a $1,200 purchase price, costs between $48 and $60 per year. You are not buying a washing machine. You are buying a cost per year calculation. And on that calculation, the Speed Queen wins by a factor of 4. If Speed Queen is not in your budget, look at the simplest Whirlpool top loader with no digital display, the models with a physical rotary timer, and no electronic control board. They share platform DNA with the post-acquisition Maytag. But without the feature stack, the failure points are reduced. They are not what the old Maytag was. Nothing new is, but they are serviceable in ways the Bravos is not. And if you own a pre-2006 Maytag that still runs, a top loader with a porcelain tub and a metal gear case, do not replace it, maintain it. The agitator dogs that engage the wash plate cost $3. The pump is replaceable in 40 minutes. The lid switch is a $5 part. That machine, maintained, will outlast anything you can buy at retail today. It is not a sentimental artifact. It is a superior appliance. Treat it accordingly. Whirlpool spent $1.7 billion in equity to buy the name Maytag. They spent the next 18 years proving that the name was the only thing worth keeping. The porcelain steel tub is gone, the metal gear case is gone, the mechanical timer is gone. The quality engineers who enforce the standards are gone. The Newton, Iowa plant is gone. What is left is a plastic machine with a famous logo that Consumer Reports rates near the bottom of its reliability rankings, that has been subject to multiple CPSC recalls, and that your repairman will tell you is not worth fixing. Buy the engineering, reject the brand. And if the repairman says it is not worth fixing, ask him what he has in his own laundry room. Everyone I know has either a Speed Queen or a pre-2006 machine they refuse to let go. That is not nostalgia, that is physics.